We have known that the concept of cloud computing, edge computing, and its relationship with Internet of Things. So next we will see the concept of edge cloud continuum. So as you must have now get the clear idea of using cloud computing and edge computing, but it is not a very ideal thing that we have to use any of service, as I have already told you that we may use these services in a mixed form as per our requirement. So for that, the concept of edge and cloud continuum emerged. So this edge cloud continuum, it is a spectrum, or it is a range of computing and data processing location that extends from the extreme edge to a central cloud data center. So just to have the clear understanding and having the idea about this edge cloud continuum, we may think a scenario where we are using some services, and we are processing some data. Suppose we have some IoT devices and we have to process its data, but for processing its data we are performing some computation on the edge nodes, and then we are sending the remaining information to the cloud. So here in this way we are using these services, or we are making use of computation nearer to the data origination and to the cloud computing. Means we are using each and every infrastructure from the data generation to the cloud computing. So this kind of computation, which involves the mix of local computation and global computation, that means the concept of edge computing and the concept of cloud computing. And still there are some different kind of computations occur, like the data filtering, data routing, which is done by some routers, switches, gateways. So all these things are known as edge. This all entire system is known as edge cloud continuum. So this continuum encompasses various points in between where data processing and computation can occur. It recognizes that not all the end computing needs can be met by a single location or approach, and emphasizes flexibility and adaptability of distributed computing resources. So this is the very important thing, that we will never be dependent on any single machine or a single location or any single computing devices for our need. It is done in multiple way, at a multiple location, at a multiple machines. So that is the concept of edge cloud continuum. So here we can see that there are multiple IoT devices and also some edge devices here. In between there is some fog nodes where some small computations occurs, and then cloud comes into the picture, which is a specific for the data sensors, where centers where multiple complex computations occur. So this is edge cloud computation, which is a mixture of this different kind of computation technology, data storage, real time real time services, redundancy, pre-processing, security, all comes into a one picture under the concept of this edge cloud continuum. So for this edge cloud continuum, we may see the mainly four things here. That is extreme edge, which refers to the closest point or the closest node to IoT devices and sensors where data is generated. So this is where data collection and initial processing takes place. So for its use case, some real time sensor and data processing, data filtering, and basic analytics occur at this level. So this may be known as, suppose that we may take an example of the example which I took in my previous session. Like there is some temperature sensor is integrated in any industry for measuring the temperature of any machine, maybe any generator, which continuously sense its temperature. Now if we know that, we may know the scenario when that generator is to be turned on and turn off on the basis of temperature it has currently. So for the continuous measurement of the temperature, the device is installed and its data is transferred to the cloud for the processing. Now at the cloud, some machine learning model is situated, which is now continuously being trained for that for the same for this specific task. Like the machine is to be start or stop at some specific temperature. So from there the model is being trained. Now at the edge device, that the if we are using some, suppose some small trained model, then when a new temperature will come, and if some action is to be taken, then that as device will instantly provide the reaction, then that whether the switch is to be turned on and off. So here we will see that two kinds of works are going on. First, the data is which is sending to the cloud is used for the training of a big model, and the edge where a small computation is being done on the received data and some small models, which gives the alarm, which gives the notifications, or the request to the actuators to perform the operation of switch on or switch off. So this is the, what about the extreme edge. Now next, if we see that edge computing, which is slightly further from the extreme edge, which involves more data, advanced data processing and analytics. It takes place in edge nodes or gateways. So in edge computing, where the computing devices are little bit far away from the data generating devices, and where some smaller data processing or data analytics kind of operations takes place. So for this, we may see the local data aggregation or pre-processing or some small decision making occurs. Now next is the fog computing, which is the intermediary layer between the edge and the cloud. It involves more powerful computation resources located closer to the edge. So suppose there are multiple levels in between the data generation and the cloud, and there are multiple devices which are integrated for different tasks. So we may use such devices, we may use such nodes for the operation. So in this reference, the fog computing takes place like if there is a computation which can be
Apakah keputus ya Pak ya?
Iya,
Iya.
macam
Baik, kita tunggu dulu sebentar Pak.
minute.
Iya, terputus Pak.
Hilaf ya.
Iya, dia lockout.
Okay. Sorry. There was some network issue. Now it is.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Arshid. Thank you.
So now it is presenting. Okay. So
Yeah.
now the next is the cloud system, as you already know that, where the large computation and large storage is used for the historical data to run some large scale applications. So all these comes into the edge cloud continuum, which is used for some specific task. As we can see here in a use case of this edge cloud continuum, where a person uses some IoT devices like some uh, medical devices which is integrated on the human body, or some smart watches. So this is the device which is directly connected to a human being, which continuously sends and collects data, and then it sends this device to our mobile phone. So suppose that there is a smartwatch which is connected to our mobile. So the smartwatch will send data, collects data, and send to our mobile. And at our mobile, when this data will come, the application specific to that application, that smartwatch, will collect that data and send it to a cloud server for the further processing. So this is the is a small this is a good use case of this edge cloud continuum, where from the IoT devices to a cloud to a cloud system, the data is being transferred, and uh, and some operations are performed on that. So we see that the edge cloud continuum. Now if we integrate this edge cloud continuum system with the internet of things, then we get the concept of cloud to thing continuum. Instead of taking the edge in between, we just go one step ahead, and we say it as a cloud to thing continuum. Means here what happens, like data generation is being done by the internet of things, and data analytics and data processing is now done by the cloud. So from this generation to the processing stage, whatever kind of technologies is being used, that makes a continuum of this. So for this way, we say this as a cloud to things continuum, with that is C2T continuum. So here if we see that there is a unmanned aerial vehicle or a drone which is connected with a fog node, means a drone which is working and it is connected to some fog nodes, and that fog node is connected to a data centers. So it is not required that UAVs should be directly connected to a cloud. Instead, it is connected to some fog nodes, where it is sending its data, and from that fog node, the data is sent to cloud for the further processing. Also, if we go in the area of industry 4.0 or industrial IoT, we will see that there are multiple kind of devices, multiple kind of IoT enabled devices, which continuously sense data and perform some specific operations on that. So for that, we can see here there are multiple unmanned aerial vehicle like UAV, field sensors, robot motion controls, and all such are not directly connected with the cloud system. Instead, they are firstly locally connected with some edge based system, and then that edge system or that edge node is connected to cloud system. So the data which is received from such devices is firstly go with the edge nodes, where some smaller computation is done, and if that computation is sufficient for that system, then the actuators perform their action. But if it requires some large computation, then further the data is sent to the cloud, and another computation is done over there. So there are in if we talk about the cloud to IIoT continuum, this is the series. We can see that cloud to thing continuum, but now here cloud to industrial IoT continuum, which is a massive deployment of industrial Internet of Things in the Industry 4.0. Uh, so, as we know that in industry in this era, there are a large number of IoT devices are there. So these IIoT devices are connected with some with the wireless network, and it is very necessary that if we are using IIoT devices in any industry which are connected with some wireless medium, then their quality of services should be very good. Their quality of services requirement should be fulfilled, because in industry, whatever the IoT sensors are or whatever the IoT devices are there, it is very much required that they should talk to each other, or they should talk to some edge devices or a cloud system. Talking means transferring of data instant way. If the sensors are made to talk in a real time manner, then the connection in between them should the connection should be the strength of the connection should be high, so that they can make communication instantly. So to support these quality of services, there are multiple factors like latency, safety of message, packet loss, and real-time decision making. And we may see some list of latencies corresponding to some aspects of industrial IoT. Like if we talk about the field sensor, then there may be the latency of 10 seconds. UAV, it is 1 to 50 milliseconds. Video surveillance 100 milliseconds. So there are these are the different statistics given for the corresponding sensors in which the latency occurs to perform some specific kind of task. So now here from this an important things come into our mind, like we have a entire scenario, we have a complete setup of IoT. We also have some edge devices where we make perform some computation. We also have some cloud computing services where we can make some complex computation. Then which one should be used, which kind of computing should be used for some specific type of application? What there see there may be the scenario like I have told you that we want to store 100 MB of data, but we are using 1 TB of the hard disk. So similarly, when edge computing is required, when cloud computing is required, and what would be the scenario, then which kind of technology we have to adopt. So it is a very also a kind of a good challenge we may
Yes.
focus on. So for that, we can take the help of artificial intelligence, which can which can perform, which can predict, which can suggest that what kind of technology, what kind of computation is required for some specific kind of applications, or for some specific kind of task related to Internet of Things and edge computing and cloud computing. So this was for the today's session, that is edge computing and cloud computing and uh, Internet of Things. So now if you have any query related to this, you may ask.
Okay, please.
Okay, Harshit. Good afternoon, Harshit. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
It's a great presentation, and I think will be really insightful. But I would like to ask Harshit, based, I don't know whether this is based on your experience or whether you understand these concepts. So I believe that IoT is and also the cloud computing is two things that connected and cannot be separated, right? But now, the things that I want to ask is that there is some still some issues in several areas on for the cloud computing. For examples here, for example, is about the interoperability. For example, if I'm using the AWS, then if I change to the another platforms, there will be a problems. Yeah, as long as I know. Yeah. So, how is your opinions or suggestions whenever we want to use the cloud computing as our storage, then we need to change from the one platform to another platforms. Is it possible? Is possible then how to overcome the interoperability issues? Thank you, Harshit.
Okay, yes, it's a nice question. So that's the thing. Like the cloud computing gives us the provides us the opportunity, provides us the way to use its computing resources as per our requirement. So if we are using some platform for as per our some specific kind of task, and now we our requirements are changed and we want to make some changes in that, then we can use the services associated with that simply by paying. Means we do not require to stick on that, and we may change that.
Mm.
So I think if we you are if you are mainly we generally we do not change the platform for any specific services. But if you are actually working on some specific kind of applications, then we may discuss about that, that what kind of issues are occurring, and for that we are thinking to make some such kind of changes. Because what I believe that for if we start doing some work, then for that we generally use some specific setup for that, which includes everything: platform, environment, operating systems. So these are supposed to be a very important infrastructure for our work. And if we are going to make changes in that infrastructures, then it is very crucial to think at once before using that, because we have to make very so sure that what kind of infrastructure will be very useful from the start and to till the end of some specific type of task. Maybe
Okay, Harshit.
if
Okay,
you
so yeah, maybe the next question from me is that one more questions is about the how if we trying to build this system from the beginnings, yeah, from the scratch. So I think it will be also need to be considered from the very beginnings that when we're trying to build the systems, it means that we have to think about, is it possible for us to use more than one platforms for the clouds, since the requirement for maybe in the next, maybe we already calculated that the next 10 years or the next 20 years is maybe the data will be more bigger and bigger here. So is it possible from the very first from the scratch, the different platforms then trying to combine together into one single platforms? Is it possible, Harshit, using
Okay,
this computing or?
so this may be the not only based on the platform dependency, but instead of the technology dependency. See, if we are using some homogeneous kind of technology, then of course we may integrate all these together in future, in later stages, like you said, after 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, maybe whatever. But means we have to go with the granularity of that subject. Means see, the platform is only for developing something, but we have to think like what we are going to develop and how we are going to develop. And if there is some technological shift is going to be happen in the future, then how it will affect our task. So in that manner we have to be ready to make such kind of changes, and accordingly we have to prepare our system beforehand, because what I think is starting from the scratch anything means we will not get anything complete in a one way. Means there is always some kind of hit and trial method. Like firstly we have used some services, and we will get to know that now this is beneficial for us, but this is not beneficial for us. So means a deep study and some literature survey in that perspective is very important. So
Okay, Harshit. Okay, thank you. Maybe Miss Martin will like to ask. Just now is raised his hand.
okay, thank you. Okay, Julius, please.
Martin first, maybe. Harshit, Martin is was the first before
Okay,
Julius, maybe.
whoever is first, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Gupta, I want to ask a question about the edge computation continuum. Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
what the consideration to use when we will decide to use uh, I mean the fog computing and also edge computing in our
Huh.
system or business or in our IoT system. And
Okay.
what is the first criteria? Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. See, what I said just to Jans that we cannot always decide very early about the technology that what we have to use. Means we have to make some hit and trial methods. Like if we have used first the cloud system and we are performing our task. Now we have to check out that at what point we can optimize our work, at what point we can minimize our cost incurring in performing that task, and what kind of available edge nodes or devices we are having where we can perform some smaller computation to reduce the cost of transmitting the data or the data
Mm.
computation. So this is mainly you this can be done in this way. Okay.
Mhm.
Means
Okay.
if you think like there is an involvement of cloud services here in this work, then firstly we will start from the this major block that we will acquire this service, and then we will see that at what point where we can optimize our computation if we
Yes.
perform some local computations. So
So
because
in
uh,
my language, maybe I can say we have to assess our needs and our system first, like it.
exactly we have
Okay.
to
Mhm.
access what is our need and what kind of resources we have currently now. Is those system, is those machines or is those devices are capable to perform our needs, then it is okay. But if it is beyond that limit, then we have to think for the further computing resources.
Okay. Thank you because this is the scalability. I see. Thank you.
Yes.
Mhm. Now,
Briefly.
Mr. Julius, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Ms. Gupta.
Hello, Adnan.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you for your enlightening presentation. Yeah, this is quite new for me as non-information technology professional, but I have a few questions about the cloud computing and edge computing. Yeah, in a project that we should choose, or what kind of the system of our computing, whether it is a cloud computing or edge computing. As a data science, I think we 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 don't know exactly what the broad aspect of the like a network security and also the finance. Yeah. So based on your best practice, who should be involved in determining which one of the cloud computing services or edge computing services that we it is the best choice or value for money. And my second question is regarding the public cloud computing services like AWS, IBM, or
Mhm.
Azure. Do they
Mhm.
also offer edge computing facilities or services now? And if so, how are they utilized? And can we can access those kind of the services? Yeah. And
Okay.
lastly, I've kind of like planning, yeah, to implement the IoT solution, but in the remote, very remote area uh, regarding the early warning system. Yeah, but
Mhm.
what kind of the cloud? I mean, what kind of the computing, services that that can be applied? Yeah? Is it the
Oh.
edge uh, cloud really useful for the offline
Mhm.
situation, or or what, or is there any possibility that we apply the automation of the computing? That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Julius. So, firstly, I would start from the last. That if you are if you are thinking to use the IoT some remote locations, and you want to make use of the data gathered from these devices, and you want some kind of operations on that data, then firstly it is very necessary to know what we want to do with those IoT data, what is our main purpose of installing that IoT devices, and if we are getting the data from that IoT devices, then what we have to do. So first, if we are installing suppose that some 1 2 3 sensors at any locations, and we are thinking that it should send some is it should, if it is at remote location, I think it is required to have some network capabilities to those of IoT devices, through which they will send their data from IoT devices to some cloud servers. Now the second thing is, we have to see what we want to do. That if we are thinking to make any predictions, or we want to make any machine learning models, so if we are doing it is as a project purpose, then you can also do in the two different manners. First is the offline mode, and second is the online mode. So if you have data, you have gathered it at a IoT devices, then you can manually take all those data and apply some machine learning models on that, and your task will be finished. But if you are not able to catch those data continuously, then you have to offload those data to cloud system. At that cloud there may be two different kind of services. First is to store those data, and second is to make operations of those data, like applying some machine learning models which could predict something. So if you are taking only storage of those data, then in that case you can again download those data to your machine, and you can make computations on that. But if you are not going to do that, you can also take the another service instead of data storage, to make more operations of those collected data. Second thing is was your question was about to when to use edge device and when to use cloud, what I could remember now. So
No, no, no.
this
Sorry. About the cloud computing service providers. Currently, do they also offer the edge computing facilities or services?
means see, the question is
Is
like
maybe they offer like facilities, something that we can also access, uh, that apply the edge computing approach, yeah, on their facilities rather than
okay.
only cloud computing services.
Okay, means if we have already some cloud services and we want to apply some functionalities on the basis of the edge computing.
Yes, yes, correct.
That's so. So see, it is totally. Can you tell me the what kind of services you are taking for
I
this
don't know. I
from
just
this?
just wondering whether they have already provide the service, something like that.
What?
Like
Please. Pardon, please.
I'm just wondering whether they have already they means service providers like Azure, AWS. Do they also offer the facilities that apply edge computing approaches
To
currently?
apply, no. They do not provide any means the facility of cloud computing into edge devices.
Yeah.
That's a thing. I don't think that such kind of facility they do provide, but you can install some specific small
Function.
plugins maybe as nodes to access those services. Means they do not directly provide such kind of services,
Okay.
because you can access those services either manually or automatically also, but that is only the cloud based. So if you have some internet of connection and you are able to make your edge devices automated to access those services, then you can do that.
Okay. So they only provide the cloud
Yes,
computing service.
yes. Okay, so
And maybe
and
lastly about the project team that deciding the what kind of services based on your best practice as a
so for the project design, what kind of project you are doing now? Means what
uh,
on is based?
yeah, that's basically about child protection web app services that it
Okay,
is yeah
data
we
prediction.
yeah, data prediction. We predict uh, based on several assessment information, then we can uh, you know
Means okay, so means you are using the concept of machine learning over there.
yes yeah.
Okay, so you must have some data set and you are applying some machine learning. So maybe if it is a project and your main concentration or your main focus is on the project prediction of something like some financial work or anything, then if you have some good computing resources, then there is no need to go with the cloud. There means acquiring any specifically taking the services from the cloud. Instead, you can also use the Google services, which is provided by the Google in free. You can use Google Colab for that. Means you must have some data set and you can apply some machine learning models over there on the Google Colab, and you can simply use it. That is a free services provided by the Google Cloud. So that is available to you. You can use it directly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, we are as a data science can cope with that all of the requirement to access or to determine or to decide what kind of services rather than we group with the finance team or IT teams or ops team,
Yeah,
something like
see, if we think like explicitly some cloud services, then means for a normal public, for a single user, all kinds of services are given here that we have to simply use it. But if we are going specifically for any special project or a big project, or if a company is trying to use the some computation power, then they can explicitly use the services of Amazon or IBM or Google Cloud. Means I don't think at this level there is much required to explicitly take
okay.
the Google services. It is already available to us and we can directly use it.
Okay, noted. Thank you,
but
Harshit.
but but as we are related to information technology, we should have all each and idea about the each and every aspect of information technology, that how the data is processed at different levels, what kind of technologies we are having right now. Because currently we are at a stage that we are using some small computation, but suppose in our future stage we have grown up, we have made some big companies, or we involved in some bigger projects, then we have to think about that what kind of services now we are available for us which we can use.
Okay. Because the
Okay.
public service provider is already broad function, right? Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you,
So
Sarshit.
okay. Thank you.
Mr. Harshit, there is
Yes.
on chat room from Mr. Denny.
Okay. Yeah, I am reading the chat.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so Danny, I read your question. So, what you have calculated the cost for acquiring the cloud services? See, the thing is like when we talk about the cloud services for our work, then we do not talk only for our the services for ourselves. Instead we talk about the services which we are providing to our customers. Suppose we have made some software which performs some photo editing work. So what to run that software, we will require some setup, and also along with that setup there should be a functionality that setup should be accessible by each and every user. So if we will buy a computer and we will make arrangements on that computer, then it is not easy to make accessibility to each and everybody, to make the proper bandwidth, to make the secure system. But the cloud system does, it has already created its big, giant and complex infrastructure where it assures the security, the accessibility and the computation, the storage to each and every person. And those who will pay for that, that will be available to them. So if we are buying some hardware and putting into in our office or in our home, where it is, then we have to incur some extra cost of maintaining the hardware, some extra cost of keeping cool the entire system. Means there are much additional things occurs when we go with some personal setup. So what you have calculated, that is only the service cost which was incurred by taking the Google services, and you have compared it only your the cost of purchasing the system. But we know very well that only purchasing is not the only thing. Whenever we buy, suppose we only buy a smartphone in some x amount of money, then we spend x amount of money on that smartphone for its maintenance, for its repairing. Much kind of costs are incurred in with that. So what you have asked, that is a good question, but it is to be it is to be know that for what kind of services, what kind of purpose we want to adapt this Google, we want to adapt this cloud services. If the purpose is personal and we do not want anybody to access our system, we do not want to provide any kind of facility from our system, then it is good to buy our personal system and you can use it. But if the personal is the purpose is different, you want to provide some services to another person, then the cloud computing is the best option in that. Okay, Danny, thank you.
Any more question? The last one.
Yeah, okay, Harshit, maybe the last question from me.
Sure.
Yeah. So now is after the interoperability issues now appearing the questions from me that if the interoperability that you already mentioned before is having no issues, then now how to overcome the securities if we have using the different platforms. Yeah, for example, the real application is that we will use the Azure, for example, and then using the AWS. So it means that we will use two different platform of the cloud computings. So now, is it any issues if we use those two kinds of the platforms, and if there is an existing issues for the security, then how to overcome these issues, Harshit? Maybe need your uh,
So
advice here.
the
Thank you.
security related to the cloud service provider.
Yeah. I mean that, for example, like this, as the client, of course, we want all the data is privately and also secure. But just how to make sure that all the data is not, I mean, that is secure and also is not taken by the another vendor or the third party. I think so. This is the issues maybe. Sid.
See, the means if we have already some setup over some cloud service provider and we are thinking that there is some security issue, then I don't think instead of migrating our data, we do have any option there, because the security is a very major concern. And if the issue comes on the reliability, then we have to take some big decision on that. And also we have to shift our entire data from to another service provider, maybe, because this kind of issue occurs in between of our project or our task, which is not very much pre-planned, because we do trust on the cloud service provider and starts our work. But if there is something happens with the cloud service provider, then I don't think there is another option instead of migrating in the entire data to another cloud service provider.
Okay, Harshit. So nice, and thank you for your advice. Thank you. I think
Mr.
there's
Julius also write something on the chat. Maybe your comment, Mr. Harshit, about Julius' comment.
No, Pak, just ya
Okay.
hanya pendapat aja Pak dari Mas Indra
Okay.
atau Mas Indra.
Uh, Okay, so Julius, you wrote something here in chat. Uh, I'm just reading it.
No, Arsit, just my opinion on the Danish.
Okay, that's I'm reading. Yes, exactly, Julius, what you have written. That we do not only have to focus on the services or the uh, computation capabilities, but also the entire things associated with that. So that's why I said that for what reason we are going with the cloud computing
Mhm.
cloud server provider. We have to for very sure that what each and every aspect of our purpose, that what would be required with the cloud service provided, what they will provide, will that be compatible to our requirement or not.
Mhm.
So that's a good you have what you have written, good approach to think about this area.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Thank you
uh,
again, once again, Mr. Harshit, for your explanation and wonderful speech.
okay, thank you so
Before
much.
we end this meeting, can we take Mr. Joe will take photo for us?
yes. Maybe need to help for anybody to on your camera first. Maybe just for minutes to better documentations. Yeah. Maybe Mas Yusia, Mas Jenny, and then the others. Maybe need your help too. Okay. Mas Budi or Mbak Ratu, please. Okay. So I will try to
Mhm.
send the hour. Okay. Let's see that 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, you upload this one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Bit 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harshit. See you next webinar.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Second. Thank you, Harshit, for your presentation
Okay.
today.
Thank you. Thank you very
Nice.
much.
Thank you, Rashid.
See you
Bye.
next.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
all
you, Mr.
participants.
India.
Yes, raise hand.
Makasih Baju.
Iya, sama-sama Pak Bambang.
Ya,
Terima
aku
kasih.
udah aktif.
Bu Ana, gimana Bu Ana?
Bu Ana, ini sesi berikutnya kapan ya Bu ya?
13 kita di Jumat di Wonosobo. Jadi mungkin bisa kita atur di Wonosobo untuk piye caranya.
Tanggal 13 Bu. Ya,
Sore 13 sore ya.
ya Bu. Jam setengah 6 juga Bu.
Ya, setengah 6.
Oke.
Itu ya, saya ingatkan aja
Baik.
presentasi betul. Selamat istirahat semuanya. Terima kasih.
Ya,
Terima kasih Bu
Bu.
Ana, selamat malam. Terima kasih Pak Bambang.
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam, terima kasih.